Ian, you just attended the roundtable organized by European and Leaseurope Securitization. And how do you see the European securitization market evolve in the next years?
I think it's interesting, but it's also a very difficult question to answer. There are many complex and interlocking events, many complex interlocking pressures which will determine how the securitization market works in the next few years. I think first of all we should acknowledge that it has been a very weak market, very low issuance for the last few years. I think we have to acknowledge also that with such low issuance over so many years, the market is really starting to fracture and fragment now. A lot of investors are starting to leave the market. A lot of players, investment banks, arrangers are starting to leave the market. So I think in the very near future, this market is a very weak one. And the question then becomes, will it expire, which it is possible, or will it be regenerated? And there the issues, the things that we need to focus on are some of them macroeconomic. Securitization is a securitization of bank lending ultimately, so therefore we have to look at, will there be more bank lending? And that's kind of tied to the macroeconomic situation in Europe. Are we going to have a recovery of some kind? Secondly, it is to do with financial policy and monetary policy from the European Central Bank and the Bank of England and some of the other central banks, which has been very accommodating, has allowed banks to have free money effectively. Will that accommodative monetary policy start to tighten, therefore forcing the banks to find funding elsewhere? And thirdly, it's going to be about regulation. At present, the regulatory profile is very negative for securitization, very punitive for securitization, and if it does not change in some ways, at least for high quality securitization, it's going to be very difficult to see any recovery in this market. However, of course, we do know that the Commission has a proposal out that's being discussed by the Council, will be discussed by Parliament. And so therefore, the third and important component of trying to gauge the future of securitization in Europe is going to be what happens with that regulatory proposal.
And what are your views exactly on the European Commission's proposal to revive a high-quality securitization market?
Well, it's a bit of a curate's egg, as I say in English. It's a very odd expression, English expression. Basically, I think we have to first give credit for the Commission. They have produced a very comprehensive regulatory proposal, and it's a proposal that really has in it the maybe 85–90% of what the market needs to really start getting back on its feet and to start allowing a flow of funds from the capital markets to consumers and SMEs. So I think we need to give credit to the Commission for that. However, there's no secret, we have said so in a number of players, in fact most market participants have said so, there are still a number of key issues that need to be revised and adapted in the proposal if the market is to revive. And I think that's one of the things that has been said, which is that 85% of the components of a vibrant securitization market are in the proposal, but amongst the 15% of the components which are not there, a few of them are really vital and cannot be left out. And if they were to be left out, then this would really call into question the capacity of the proposal to help the securitization market and revive it.